Hey, what's up? Good evening. Good mid-weekend. Good time to make sure you turn your clocks. Boy, I hate to tell you this. It's bad news, but you got to turn them up tonight. It's a Monday morning. For some of you poor stiffs, it's going to be tough. But God bless you. I face my share of them. I'm just not going to worry about it this time because I already sleep my own schedule, so I don't much worry about it. But it was a great day, man. It's crazy. I was a little afraid it wasn't going to be because I woke up at 5 o'clock. I couldn't sleep. Lucky enough to go back to sleep for a little bit. But, had a full board day. Today was meet me at the bridge, my brother and his wife and Cheryl and Pastor Margot. And I hate to start calling names, but those, let's face it, that's the spearhead, but they come. This is the weekend they come, and we've been working this week. And I've already said it a few times, but man, I love it so much. I'd rather do this than eat a banana split. But anyway, and then today is the sort of the culmination day, of it. I'm excited. Because, man, I love going out there and talking to these people one-on-one and meeting them. And, gosh, I got story after story after story that, I got to share with you at some point. I'll probably share 2 or 3 of them today. Just today's stories. These are not lifetime extended stories going to take me 2 hours and 15 minutes to get to the door on. No, I'm talking about stuff that happened today, And it was just an amazing day. I went wide open, and there were a few little glitches that don't usually happen today, but to be honest with you, everything was as smooth as silk. You had this, I saw 2 women about to fight over here, and after everything was said and done, and we got to the end, this lady, I told her, I said, what I would do, she kept on talking about what this lady did. She wants to be the boss, and blah, these are volunteers. Man, I said, look here, let me tell you how to handle it. You go back over there, and you tell her, listen, come here just a minute. I want to hug your neck. I'm sorry for trying to be abrasive or anything I did, and really that other lady was at fault. But I said, just tell her you're sorry, God bless her, and sometimes you get overzealous, and we both trying to make the same goal, and that's to be like Jesus, and you're sorry. And the fact of the matter is, that's heaping coals of fire right there, brother, because what would another Christian say to that statement? Little fires like that, little things like that are unsolved opportunities, and David had some problems with the equipment, and it's quite a production to go in there and set up to where you can have wireless everything, mics and guitars, and what really brought it home to me, man, today, and it was just unbelievable. And I want you to get a picture of this. We was at 406 East Russell Street, and right in the middle of what most people would consider like. Pastor used to call it ghetto. Hell, I hate to call it ghetto because I've been in some ghettos, and that ain't ghetto. But it's not the country club either, let's put it like that. And we were right in the middle of it. And, I would say that the music genre in general is probably not what 80%, 85, 90% sometimes of the crowd would particularly prefer. But David does some old songs that's generic and this, that, and other. But anyway, long story short, had a little snafu there, and because, from first one reason and another, after the service was over, and it was great, wonderful message. The response was great. Dude, this was a homeless crowd, and they sit there better than any church crowd I ever been to, as far as not getting up. Of course, we had them roped off and had food back there waiting, so that's one powerful motivator. But while David was able to feed them and share living water with them, it was beautiful, and they sit there and listen. You didn't have a lot of ups and downs, and you had homeless families there with children and things like that. Couple, 2, 3 families of them, and quite a lot of activity, but it went very, very smooth. But afterwards, and this is where it really hit me, man. After this guy got up, it's been around the ministry, David's ministry particularly, for a long time, and I had met him, but I hadn't really got to know him. Today I got to know him, and yeah, he's right on, you know. But anyway, he got up and he had a short testimony, which is precious, and part of it was at the end he said, listen, he said, I apologize. He said, I like all kind of music, but it just seems like when I sing, it comes out with a twang. Well, I didn't really know what we were in for, but let me tell you something. That was one of the most beautiful bluegrass gospel songs I've ever heard. Bluegrass now. And we in the ghetto. Man, I look back through there in a minute, and everybody there was into it. They were getting into it. They loved it, you see. Did they love that format? Necessarily no. But the deal was the face of Jesus was in that music, man, because everything that happened there today, from Meet Me at the Bridge and Pastor Margot and Cheryl and David and all, treating them, and all the volunteers, treating them people like they were on a first class, all paid vacation or something, you know. They had bowls of candy or whatever. Listen, we ain't good for them, but protein bars and this, that, and the other. One poor guy, and he ain't been in the street long, and he was really sharp first time I met him because he just hit the ground, and today he still got clothes on that are getting a little tattered. And but anyway, I said, how you doing, little brother? And he said, I'm okay. He said, it's just my hands. He got a scarf, and he said, but my hands are cold. So I went back there, and one of the ladies was able to find him some gloves, you know, and it was just a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful day. But to witness that moment, you know, when Stone Cold Bluegrass, you know, about as bluegrass as whoever, you know, Lloyd Morgan, George Morgan, them boys, or Ricky Skaggs. It was about like that, but here we are in the ghetto, and the Lord's moving through it, see. And that's the point. As long as we can understand, yes, there's all kind of steps and all kind of different churches and organizations that we can join and should join, and etc. We got to understand that our primary purpose is not to get rich or not to go, not to do. Our primary purpose is to give it all, be willing to give it all in return for allowing the Christ Jesus to live through you to a point that his love, he creates a love and a passion in you. And then you're showing his face, you see. So that's where we need to strive to get. And when I say strive, it ain't no striving, it ain't us. We just need to give up, you know, and be there, because when we do, amazing things happen. Amazing things. Read Psalm 91. He who dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High God shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty God. Now, let me push the pause button a minute. He who dwelleth. What does that mean, dwelleth? We got to do it if we will. Dwelleth. And how much effort on our part does dwelling take? Guess what? It don't take none. Zero, zilch, nada, none. You just there. You dwell. I'm dwelling in this house right now. Now, it takes some work to get it here because it was a dump when I got it. But, you know, now it's pretty good. I'm just dwelling here. It doesn't take any effort on my part. So, he who dwelleth, just dwells, stays in the secret place. What is a secret place? It probably ain't out in front of the crowd, you know. It probably ain't even in a classroom, you know, where you even study and dissect and learn the history and chronological order and all contemporary and all that stuff, you know, the scriptures. No, that's good, but it's not there, see. To be like Jesus, to really walk in his footsteps, first of all, you got to know him. You got to know him. not know about him, not know stories, not know about how what the size of the cross was and how long spikes and how long it was before he bled and what just. It's fine. That's all well and good, but no, we need to know how he lived. We need to consider how he handled situations in his life, and then began to put his words inside of us. Stuff them in. Stuff them in. Don't set aside 3 minutes or learn one verse, and it's okay. It's a start. It's better than nothing. But if you really want to be transformed by the washing of the water of the Word of God, then it makes sense. The same way that I wanted to transform my body, I started drinking pure alkaline water. The same way that water cleansed my body just by pouring it in. I'm talking about a gallon or a gallon and a half a day. I started seeing changes in my body. Well, in the same way, when I started pouring God's Word, His pure, unadulterated, straight-up Word. I'm not talking about commentary. I'm not talking about, I read the altar thing this morning, and that was, no. I'm talking about being baptized in it. And when I say baptized, you got to get in there, buddy, and be serious that you're going to follow Jesus. That you're going to follow Jesus. That you're willing. Jesus said, if you're not willing to leave brother, father, sister, brother, aunt, uncle, whatever it was. I don't remember the exact thing, but even monkeys' uncles, He said, if you're not willing to give it up and leave all y'all, then you're not worthy. And of course, He makes up for our worthiness, our unworthiness through His grace and His mercy and those sorts of things. But it's not just about doing the drive-by on Sundays and maybe, throwing some money up in there in the chute or whatever. No. It is, that's great, and it takes money, and it takes all these other things in the world to run the organization that spreads the teaching and the gospel. I understand that. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about where you live your life. We're talking about where the rubber meets the road, you see. And that's where we need the help. That's where we need the help. And that's where we grow, and that's where we find our strength, and everything else is in that day-to-day, hour by hour by hour. So plug in. That's all. Commit. It ain't about you can't do this, you can't drink beer, you can't. It ain't about can't, and it ain't about can, see. It's about commitment. And once you make that commitment, and once you allow Him to come and live inside of you, then it ain't about what you do or don't do. It's about what He did. See, and the acceptance that is sufficient. Boy, that puts you a long way. But anyway, consider that, and let's see things happen. A lot of things happen. And let me jump back on. I'm sorry I get off track a little bit, but that was really deep, important things. I think that God said to me, or was saying to me, sort of, in my spirit. But, I told you guys, I think about about Cindy that lives under the bridge over on Person Street. She's a sweet lady, man. I love her, She's sweet. All of her teeth are about gone, and, she's not adorable in that sense of the word. She's got a precious spirit. She's just bound by alcohol, man. And she's, I guess, through time, probably burned everybody and got to the point, don't nobody want, they ain't gonna even call her back. Now they're probably not even thinking about her. So she lives under that bridge and has, I think, for about 3 years. It was her and her dog, and the dog died or something happened, But anyway, she's about at the end of the trail, and her kidneys are failing, and not this feeding, the last time, the event, she had peed on herself, and I was telling you about the sweet lady that, ministered to her, and how, man, I just saw God's hands, Jesus' hands, the hands of Jesus in her actions, But anyway, today I found out that, Cindy's pretty bad off, and just say a prayer for her, and she certainly is hurt. She knows the way, and I really do believe that although she hadn't beat that devil, and although that alcohol's got such an attachment to it, physically, it's killing her, but she still can't let it go. I really believe that she has asked the Lord to come into her heart. And the last time she promised me she would come, and it was hard, man, because she can get along on this little walker thing, but basically she's in this, I wouldn't call it a wheelchair, it's got rollers on the bottom. But anyway, you just pray for her, that's all. And I'm going to go down there and check. She had a place that she was going to be able to move. She and this other guy that's a homeless guy. We met him the first time that we were in Fayetteville and had an event down there. He's quadriplegic, I think is what you call it. He can't move nothing, just barely his hands enough to wheel around, But he's got a chair board, that thing, it'd do more than my recliner, I mean, it'll do all kind of stuff, and the wheels do all kind of fancy stuff, So he's on a different level. But he's been homeless too, and I don't know the wherefores and whys, and I don't even care. It's pain, and it hurts. But he and Cindy were going to get a place together, and I think that would have been perfect because they'd lived under that bridge together, And now to be able to get a place, and now she's really sick, and he's worried, but he's still going to move in. He came to me today and said, what am I going to do? Cindy's sick, and I don't even know how I'm going to get my stuff. And I said, I thought he was 100% homeless, but apparently he's got a little room or something. He said, well, I got 2 beds and some tables and I think he said a flat screen TV or something like that. So, but anyway, pray for him too. And obviously every time I'm letting him know, and I don't push, I'm not that kind of guy, because I'm not a, Bible thumping kind of guy. I'm just sharing hope, and letting them know that it is there, and more than anything else, I want to be like Jesus and do what he would do. And given that, I'm sorry this thing's so long, and it's going to be a little bit longer. I might cut it up. But after we had had the event there, and it was such an awesome thing. It was such an awesome event, and everything went good, and a little short-handed, and this, that, and the other, but, everything worked. And everybody, there's loading up and wrapping up and all, and I was ready to go. And there's a couple guys that I had been talking to about specific issues, and I just had this one guy on my mind. David and I think it was the first time that we came to Fayetteville and just went into the cold turkey and the homeless. That's what I was looking for. It was a rough area where people hanging out. So. And first time we went there, we met a guy in the park down behind the library in Fayetteville. Beautiful park, but it's full of homeless. And typically, to be frank with you, the ones that are there are the ones that are, like I don't even know what the terminology is tonight, because I'm not disrespectful, but society would call them the derelicts of society. I don't refer to them that way, but I want to get you a mental picture of where we were. Well, we went down there, and some of them, they got to put on a show, and they got to strut and be bad, and this, and that's okay. I can go along with it. I don't have a problem. I'll let him be the hero for a minute or two. But anyway, there was one particular guy that got my attention. And if you could just imagine, I don't even know, man, he looks like some kind of commercial on I mean, this dude, he had, people put stuff in them, like rings, and this guy had like 4 big old, at least 1 carat diamonds stuck in his nose down this way, and then he had a couple of them loops like that, and then he had them, I don't know what they call them, lip pullers or whatever the heck they are, that they wear like that. And he had tattoos. He's pretty dark skinned. He's African American guy. But he had tattoos, man, all over, and I don't know how many tears he had right up in here, and I think that has a specific meaning, but just use your imagination, if you will. But I've talked to him. Every time I go, I look for him, and sometimes he's laying on the ground. He's always dirty. the first time that we met him, there was something there. He wasn't that guy I was looking at. You know, I didn't feel like. But anyway, there have been multiple. I've been in there multiple times, and you know, his backpack was completely wore out. It had holes in it, and I had one here that I had for a long time. It was a Bob Timberlake one that had leather and a big old thick canvas. And did you know I'd had it for, shit, I ain't gonna tell how long. Never used this. I used it one time, and a dye in that leather got off on something I wore, and it, you know, it snake bit me, and so it's been in there brand new ever since. And I'd say it probably cost you $1,000 now, but I ain't gonna use it. And it just hit me. You know what? That boy right there, he's laying on the ground all this. So I come home, I got it, took it back to me. When I did, he fell down on the ground on his face and just cried. He was so thankful. And you know, I saw it coming out in him right then. There's a heart in this guy. There's something there. And I had been asking him, and I asked him and asked him. And this past week, I kind of tried to nail him down, make him promise me that he'd come. He said he'd try. He'd try. Well, I got there early. Well, guess who else got there early? My buddy did. And he hadn't been drinking. He had not been drinking intentionally, so he could come over to see us, you know. And that touched me, man. It touched me. But you know what? There was 20 or 30 other touching stories happening at the same time that needed attention too, you know. In my mind, I need to speak this one, because these people that we've touched during the week or in the past few weeks or whatever, and you began to build at least you began to build a little bit of credibility with them, you know, and a little comfort level. So I need to touch them, and you know, they're already taken care of like a king. For some reason, I feel like a maitre d', you know, make sure, and we ain't getting no tips. So I don't know why. It's just what the love of Jesus does when you yield to it and just let love through you, you know. So it was just pretty awesome. Anyway, I had to go, and I said, listen, bro, get you some food after service, and then hang out, you know, because I really want to talk to you, and I don't mean to be ignoring you. He said, oh, yeah, go. It was a different guy I was talking to, and during that time, and we went ahead and finished, and we had this and that and the other to do, and, you know, this and that and the other to talk to, and had a lot of people. Man, Mama Matthews was there, and boy, this is a result of her prayers. What we're seeing happening down there, is a result of her prayers and her raising Pastor Leslie Matthews, who was my best friend, who, y'all know the story, you know, but he went on to be with the Lord, but his vision is alive and well and thriving, and I wish he was here to see it. And Pastor Margot, man, she has faced opposition straight from the pits of hell in her life, and she's undeterred, hadn't given up, and just fought, and you know, she's out there doing it. And others, here again, I hate to start calling names, but I have to talk about, you know, these pioneers, you know, who are out there. And then the results that we see, and you know, so all that being said, boy, I'm just full as a tick, and I didn't eat much. I got some food, and boy, it was good. But Charlie was hungry too, so don't tell him about it. But I let Charlie have my chicken. And but I was going home, and but shoot, it was too pretty. Who wanted to go home? I couldn't get that old boy off my mind. I hated. I missed him. So guess what? I went back down to the park, and there was several guys down in there that I've seen, and I spoke to all of them, sat down for a minute, see if they okay, and tell them God loves them, basically is what it was. I even talked to the drug dealer out there, you know, and he had a sale going this weekend, 3 for something or another, I don't know, but I told him no thank you, and tried to sell him some living water, but he wasn't interested in that either. But we had a good conversation, respect for each other. He appreciates what I do, and I don't particularly appreciate what he does, but we mutual about it, and it ain't none of my business. So that's where we stand at the moment. But I looked down there on the daggone bench when I went into that park. The guy that I was really trying to think of his name, and I hate to admit that, but with a name like I have, it's so easy to remember. I don't pay much attention sometimes to names. I'm pretty sure it was some abstract name too, anyway. But there he sat. Most of the time when I go into the park, there he lay. If I could have a intelligent conversation with him, he was laying down on the park bench there. But otherwise, he's in the dirt or in the concrete or something, and got foam sometimes coming out, or snot and stuff coming out of him. But, he's still a sweet guy, man. Sweet spirited guy. Well, today, I talked to a different guy. It almost blew me away. I talked to a highly intelligent, emotional, deep thinker, hidden behind scars and tattoos, and yeah, he's there. And I got to talking to him, man. I just felt the urge to tell him, because I saw me in him. I saw it, you know. I saw it, and I said, dude, let me just tell you like it is. He said he'd been thinking about some things, and he really needed to try to change some things, and this and that and the other. And I said, but let me tell you something, man. Let me just be straight with you, because I don't get many opportunities to talk to you where you really rest in what I'm saying. But the bottom line is, I know in my heart that you just like me. You've spent your whole life running from God, running from what you knew you were supposed to do, the life that you were supposed to be living. And I said, I can promise you, somebody's praying for you right now. And boy, he just about cried, dude. He said, yeah. And then he told me, he said, yes, I know the way. And he said, I've experienced it. And, but he said, I'm working on it. And you know what? That don't sound like a whole lot right there to you. But I think back 6 months, 7, 8 months. I think back every time I've been in there, and every time me and my brother have been in there. Fishing. Fishers of men, that's what Jesus told Peter he's going to make him. So I say we're going fishing. But every time me and David go in there, you know, we've seen him. But now, guess what? We planted the seed. We tried to show him. We didn't just try. We showed him the love of Jesus the best way we knew how. And today, it's spring, you know, almost. Time changes tonight. But today, when them seeds popped up, and guess what? You wait and see what I tell you. That old book I'm talking about with all that stuff, it's kind of cute. I wish I had him on my t-shirt. I could sell a zillion of them. If you put the right colors on them, turn them diamonds, different colors, greens and all that kind of stuff, you could probably get painted up right and make some money. But anyway, I see the day when that guy's going to be there instead of, you know, vertical on the ground, blowing snot when he tells me he loves me or whatever. I see the day when he's going to see himself laying there as he shares living water with them. You know, I said, you just believe with me. And then, have I got time? Yes, because I'm trying to keep it shorter and not ramble. But then I was on my way home, come back, Charlie was hungry and he was complaining and whatever. You know, the dog ate the biscuit. So I got him home, got him a little something to eat, put the collar on his neck so he quit scratching his ear. But he still wasn't exactly satisfied. So, and I wasn't satisfied. I had Jim and Marcy. That's my pagan, Wiccan couple that's been living up here in the park, homeless for a few months now. The one that's wanting to fight me all the time. She don't want to hear about Jesus, that's for sure. I've shown him to her there, and she don't even know it. I wish she does now. But anyway, they've been getting nicer and nicer, you know. And today, for the first time, I just went over. I told him, I said I wasn't even gonna walk Charlie because it's getting dark. It's too cold. But I just want to see y'all and check on you, make sure you're all right, and you know, check on Jim's ear and Marcy. You doing better about her shoulders hurting, and you know, oh, it's not really her shoulder. She has a disc, and I understand. And I gave her the best advice I could But, they live in a van with everything got packed in it, and it's a minivan at that, and he's so fat, half of him hangs out until she goes over and pushes the door, pushes him up in there. He's trying to sleep like that, And the only reason she's any better off is because she's shorter, So they're in dire straits. But for the first time today, man, she said, Thomas, I need to talk to somebody. She said, I'm ready to talk to somebody. And I knew what she was saying. Well, the fact is, I'm not really qualified to have the kind of talk with Marcy that she needs to have. So I'm sure that one of these ladies, that's what she needs, because she has issues that I'm not sufficiently schooled in to do her much good. Spiritually, absolutely. Jim, be with her, absolutely. But I ain't getting hooked up over here dealing with no witch, trying to deal in sensitive issues, no. So anyway, but just pray for her, for Marcy, and for Jimbo. Just pray for them. I believe they're coming too. I probably got 10 or 12. And listen, can you imagine my brother David in Charlotte, he does this. In Durham, he does this. And in Fayetteville, he does it. So I'm sure the involvement that he gets in so many lives is unbelievable. But we're seeing fruit, I had 2 or 3 calls this morning. I ain't never had that. And texts and stuff. I said calls, texts from some of these people I'd met during the week, just to make sure of what time it started and what time they should be there. We'll see. That's the favor that God gives you when you're out here planting seed, and doing what he told us to do. So anyway, I just wanted to share those things with you. I know it's a lot, but just think about it. And you know what? If a lot of people just can't get out and do what Meet Me at the Bridge does, they just can't. Their lives are so busy, they got so much. But you do have clothes and shoes and, I ain't talking about high heels and Nettletons. No. I'm talking about, stuff that's usable. Think about if I was homeless. But I'm sure all of us have shoes and jackets and whatever. And a lot of times we neglect some of the women's stuff. But, that's dangerous because these are not real trendy dressing ladies, I guess it's at this point in time. So just put that back there, and it costs a lot of money going up and down the road, gas and food and this and that and the other, and just everybody needs something. And the ministry is a conduit. It doesn't have money in the bank and all that. No. It's a conduit. People given to the ministry, and then or different items, different things. Some companies do that, whatever. But it comes to us not to put in a thrift store and sell, but to go out and give to the needy. And of course, that's our bait when we're fishing for men. So bear that in mind. If you want to help us, we'd love it. Meet me at the bridge, and Miss Cheryl and them know how to do about all that. I ain't interested in all that. I just want to tell you that there is joy, and there is a place in God where rest is complete, and you can find it if you want it. So that's all. All right, love y'all. Take care. See you later. Adios.